And we're live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Carnivore Hangout Party. We got everyone in the house today. We got me, of course, Nicole. We got good old Ron from Carnivore Ron, Aaliyah, Jonathan from Composition Consultant, and Dave with Carnivore Werewolf. So, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Having a great Sunday. I moved the pool party to after the live stream so I wouldn't be late.
Nice.
Like last time.
So, as you guys enter the chat, please be sure to pop in and say hello, so we know you're here. Um, but let's just kind of quickly go around, just in case people don't know who all is on this stream, and just tell everyone who we are. So why don't we start with an order on my screen? Ron, why don't you go ahead and quickly introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Carnivore Ron, and eaten carnivore for 5 years and doing well.
Sweet, sweet. Leo, what's up?
Hey, so I started carnivore in March 1st, and it was pretty much life-changing for my weight loss and other things of health that I had no idea. I cured my IBS in like probably a week and a half that I had on and off for years, symptoms of that. And I love it, sleeping great. And now I'm here to talk about it to help more people find out about it.
That's awesome. You also had the nasty endo that you talk about a lot.
Oh yeah, I talk about that a lot, and it's funny because like all these amazing things start happening, and then you just forget. You forget the bad. Oh wait, my life. This totally changed this horrible aspect of my life, and then I forgot about it.
What's up, Jonathan?
You're right. I'm Jonathan, so definitely not John. I'm the composition consultant on YouTube. I'm probably too diseased to summarise myself like Elia and Ron have succinctly managed to do. So yeah, I'm just here, happy to chime in and answer any questions and help you guys out, and also listen and learn as well.
Sweet.
Awesome.
What's up? What's up, Dave?
I'm Dave, Carnivore Werewolf on YouTube and online. I've been carnivore. Coming up August 1st will be my 1-year carniversary. I've reversed all of my health conditions and lost a ton of weight as an over-the-road truck driver doing this.
Heck yeah!
Awesome.
And he was also fell prey to veganism.
7 years of it.
Yep. Woo.
Wow.
Yep. It did its damage.
So I'm Nicole. I'm carnivore, ketovore for about 8 months, 9-ish months. I stopped counting, and yeah, similar to everyone else, I reversed sleep apnea, dropped a ton of weight, high blood pressure, all that stuff, inflammation, digestive issues, and I too had a 4-year stint of vegan, and I actually gained 20 more pounds on vegan. So that's pretty much who we have on the stream. So it's going to be a pretty chill hangout. We got some people in the chat already.
Right on.
What's up, Allison?
Hey, Allison.
We got Mike in the house. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike?
Hello, Mike.
Got Sophia in the house. What's up?
And Kim's
Morning,
here.
Sophie.
Oh, Kim, where are you at? Wait.
She's backstage. You
Oh,
gotta
hold
press
on.
a button.
Hold on. I'm new here. Hold on. There we go. Welcome, Kim.
Oh, look at Kim. Hey, Kim.
Oh, you're muted.
Uh-oh.
I said I'm so shocked I figured this out. I've never done this before, so just bear with me.
Yeah. We just did a quick round of brief intros because we have a lot of people in the chat and a lot of different people's audiences. So why don't you briefly just tell everyone who you are?
Well, I am Kim, Kimberly Lane on YouTube. I am a registered nurse, and I've been a
Wanna
nurse for
start with
22
me?
years.
Again?
What'd you say? I didn't hear you. Okay. I'm a registered nurse for 22 years, and I recently went carnivore to try to cure my chronic candida because I've read some studies about it. And yeah, I've been dealing with it since I was 19. So it's not a fun topic for people to discuss usually, but if they have that problem, I think I can help them.
That's awesome.
Right
Glad to
on.
be here.
Yeah, thanks for popping on. I'm glad we figured out how to get you on. We got Allison. This is her 6th month carniversary.
Way to go, Allison.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Allison.
So to help lead the conversation a little bit until we get some more people on the chat, everyone who's here, regardless of the channel you're watching from, smash the like button. Let's get some more people in the house. So why don't we talk about, a lot of people have issues increasing their fat intake. I know I was one of them. It took me a while to get my fat up because we're very much low carb, and a lot of people are actually afraid of saturated fat. I didn't eat saturated fat, for instance, or a lot of red meat before I transitioned. So whoever wants to kick it off, what is some good tips that you can provide to help people up their fat intake as they get started on this way of eating?
Why don't we go Ron, me, Kim, Jonathan, and Carnivore Werewolf, just to keep it simple.
Yeah, it appears that way on my screen as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah, rock on.
With me, I transitioned very slowly. I initially started eating a lot of fat, and of course, I was running to the restroom with diarrhea. So I realized that's what was causing it. So I cut back on the fat a lot, and then gradually increased it over several weeks. And that solved the problem.
Nice. Someone also mentioned butter bites.
And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, increase the butter slowly but surely, and bacon. Those are my choices, to slowly increase the fat and see where you can, where it's not going to go over into diarrhea mode.
Yeah.
And then cut back a little bit. That's my answer. What about you, Kim?
Well, let's see here. I mean, just, I don't know. I really don't have a lot to add to that. I'm sorry. I'm like, I guess just slowly increasing. I didn't have a problem with that as much. Now, I did have frequent trips to the bathroom, but that wasn't necessarily related to that. There is, with a lot of carnivores or anybody who changes their diet, your gut has to adapt to that. So that was the case with me. My gut was definitely not ready. And so I had problems for about 3 weeks. And then at the 3-week mark, it was like somebody flipped a light switch and I was done with that. So.
Nice. What about you, Jonathan?
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of ins and outs to this question. With a bit of context and specificity towards if it was a client I was working with, I could really go down the rabbit hole. There's a few things that I'd probably think about, which would be medications that people are using. If they're using the carnivore diet as a modality to reduce their inflammation, but they're still using lots of meds, that will impact their ability for their liver to function optimally, which means their body's production of enzymes to break down fats would be lesser. So that's one thing. Again, I'm not telling people not to use a medication. I'm just saying that's a thing you need to look at. The other thing as well is perhaps splitting up your meals slightly, increasing the fat gradually throughout the day. Then you can work from there, meal by meal by meal. There's some useful supplements which can help with bile acid production, but ultimately they're just kind of like, plasters to patch things up. They don't really get to the root cause of the problem. So you can use that, but I think it is a case of just increasing it gradually, like you guys rightly said.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Dave? And you have some extra hurdles, pretty much living your life on the road, right?
Yes, you have to make a few considerations for that. Now, I didn't just gradually jump into carnivore. I just jumped in with both feet, and that was it. A few weeks of diarrhea. That was normal. If I could do it over again, I would probably do it gradually.
Yeah.
But no, it works. It works. You just increase the fat. What can I say? I love fatty cuts of red meat. I love putting some bites of butter in. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that difficult in theory, but like I said, I struggled with it because for my entire life, I was chicken breast, lean turkey. I was everything lean. I I can count on two hands how many times I've had an actual piece of steak and an actual beef burger patty in my entire 40, almost 3 years of existence. So if you're coming from, that extreme and trying to live this lifestyle, it is pretty difficult to get your fat where it needs to be. So it took me pretty much the entire the entire time I've been living this lifestyle to increase my fat. And the easiest way that I found to do it is literally just BB&E, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, because it has all the protein you can ever need. It has all the fat it pretty much has everything you need. And they're simple foods. And then you can kind of add and subtract from there. But that, just doing the BB&E for the last 2 months has really helped increasing my fat intake.
Good shout. Yeah, I've got a recipe on my channel for butter bites if anyone's interested. They're not just butter bites, though. Funny enough,
I am. I'll head
they're-
over after this.
they're hyper palatable. So if you've got some sort of binge eating disorder, I wouldn't not recommend them.
Oh yeah.
But they're a way of getting more fat in your diet in a small little nugget, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, I can
Right
just
on.
see like sitting on the couch, just like shoving them in my face like bonbons.
Yeah.
We got
Hello,
Daniel from Colombia.
Daniel is an Englishman in Pasto, and I am a Chicagoan in Pereira.
Yeah. Yeah. So, does anyone else have anything to add or anything to that they want to discuss? I know transition is another big thing. I actually got asked this on my Instagram account. Someone's getting started, and they asked about fasting, how many times a day they should eat, and all those questions. So, does anyone have any tips for people who are just getting started on how to get started? And I know this is a super loaded question, but I've been getting that question a lot, especially this week, about how people not knowing just how to start.
Sure. Ron first.
Rod always is going to lead off the conversation.
Yeah.
Way to go, Rod. Thanks for taking one for the team.
The pressure. How to start? Well, of course, I started looking at carnivore influencers' YouTube videos, and there were plenty of suggestions from them. So basically, I just jumped in with both feet. I went cold turkey from the standard American diet. And about a week and a half after I started, of course, I hit the dreaded flu. And so I went back online and realized that I needed electrolytes. So after taking electrolytes for several days, I transitioned off, and I've been fine ever since. So I would suggest no transition from the standard American diet to carnivore.
Yeah, electrolytes is key. That's very important, especially in the beginning. That's a good tip. What about you, Aaliyah?
I would say, well, first I was trying to do keto on and off for like 6 years, and I couldn't get the results that I expected, like what I'm getting out of carnivore right now. So I was a little bit adjusted, at least to eating low carb. So I would say if it's like a totally new person getting off the standard American or standard UK or standard Australian diet, first take out the seed oils, stop going to McDonald's and just take a garbage bag and get all of the carbohydrates out of your house, like the refined carbohydrates, and get the fruit out of your house. I'm not totally against vegetables. I always say I love vegetables. They don't love me. So, so get the fruit, carbohydrates, and seed oils out of your house. Then slowly start taking the vegetables out of your, research and find out what are high oxalate vegetables and get those out, and get the almonds out, also high oxalates. And then add in more red meat and more fatty meats, and then do that sort of conversion, getting the other thing out and getting the higher fatty meats in. There you go.
For sure. What about you, Kim? What you got?
So I'm kind of an all or nothing type person. I don't really do things halfway. So sometimes I have to learn the hard way. And I'm not saying I would advise others to do that, but it just depends on your personality. Some people just can't, do half standard American crap and, transition easily. I'm not a transitioner. I'm a let's do this now.
So you went cold turkey.
Well, so the thing is, it's not really cold turkey because I've done keto for so many years off and on that I'm like a keto pro pretty much in my mind anyway. But yeah, I've done that so much that my body, I feel like, goes pretty quickly into it. And but for somebody who's brand new, I would think that they should probably do keto first, and kind of learn the rules, and just it teaches you to get away from that unhealthy food. It's strict, but it's not carnivore strict. And I just feel like carnivore strict is for a special type of person. So, you know yourself better than anybody. If you want to try it, go for it. But I just think that, more of a keto transition into carnivore is the best. And,
Yeah.
learning about reading labels. I mean, there's so many things that the average person just doesn't ever do,
Mhm.
Yep.
and I was that person. So I just I never read labels or anything. I hope you guys can't hear too much background noise. I thought outside would be a great idea, and now there's like motorcycles going by.
Yeah, I
So-
heard that. It's a beautiful background. I say stay. It's all good. Kim, you did get a shout out. You got Connie Knight, another
Oh,
Southerner in the
hi.
house.
Yeah, Connie actually came over to my YouTube channel
Oh,
from
nice.
Alias.
Yay.
Aw, nice. We're
That's so
sharing.
cool.
Karen is Karen.
Yay.
What about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I quite like this question. You can really dig into this one a lot, and it is very, very, very context specific.
Yeah.
Someone like myself, maybe I wasn't having spinach and kale shakes at first, so I could have jumped into the carnivore diet when I started a bit quicker than most people. I wouldn't be tapering out the oxalate rich foods. Or might say to most people, it's 4 to 8 weeks. Go from maybe standard Western diet to carnivore. An even better way to do it would be keto first, then carnivore. If you're someone that tracks macros or how much grams of things you have, maybe decrease carbs by 10 grams a week, increase fat by 5 grams a week, something like that. There's not really the best practice to do it, because ultimately coming from different points in time with your health journey. But I think it's important to just do it as slow as you need to do it. I think for the fact that most people probably approach this sort of diet maybe 30, 40 years old, maybe a bit older. They're looking at it to the point that they're trying to apply a diet for the rest of their life, the next 40, 50 years. There's no rush to do this. It's not something which you just do for a bit of weight loss, So, yeah, I'm all for 4 to 8 weeks transitioning. Could be 4, could be 8. Depends where you come from.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine was about 6 to 8 weeks to transition personally. What about you, Dave? What do you have?
The first thing I tell people is drop the sugar, cut the sugar out of your diet completely. Now, most people will wean off of it. If you can just drop it, perfect, but a lot of people can't. So I'll always recommend reducing it greatly. And people that say, I have to have my soda, I can't go off soda.
Yeah.
I tell them, take your soda cup when you're in like a fast food restaurant. Instead of filling it all the way with soda, you're going to dilute that 50%. So 50% of that's going to be water, 50% of that's going to be your soda that you want for the flavor. And then over time, you're going to wing that down even further to where you're just putting a little bit on top, and that's it, until you get to the point where you're only drinking water. And I find that helps tremendously, especially with people that just can't cut sugar just completely out right away.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually some of the trickery I use with my senior clients when their adult children can't get them to get off the juices. I'm like, just dilute the juice and just fill it with water. Dump some of it out and just dilute it with water, so at least it's not as sugary. So yeah, I love that tip.
Right, you're still getting the taste.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have a question from Sophie. What would you say to someone who was struggling to stick to carnivore? I'm sure there's a few newbies that struggle to change eating habits. So before we go around the room, I will say, don't feel pressure to go carnivore. Not everyone needs to go carnivore and cut everything out. So it just depends on what your health situation is and what your goals are. For instance, I'm not strict carnivore. I do eat berries and minimal things like that. So and if it's a goal that you want to go carnivore because of your health, and that's a different story. But the first thing I'll say before we go around the room is, don't feel pressure to go 100% carnivore and to go completely zero carbs, because not everyone has to do that. But Ron, what do you say to that?
I would say examine yourself and ask the question, why do you want to eat carnivore? With me, I was diagnosed in 1998 as being allergic to gluten. And so I was still having to use my inhalers even after that. So whenever my daughter was telling me about the keto diet, I jumped online and found carnivore. And with the ultimate elimination diet, I thought, well, maybe this would solve my problem. And it did. 6 months after I started eating carnivore, I no longer needed to use my inhalers. Surprise, surprise. So it's why. Why do you want to do it? I didn't do it to lose weight, although I did.
Yeah. What
I
about you,
love.
Aaliyah?
Sorry, I love that he said that. And in addition to that, I think you should keep a list of all the things you notice changed in yourself as you're starting it. Like, I didn't do this from the beginning, but I've started it now, and so then you can look back and see, oh wow, I can sleep now. Oh wow, XYZ happened. Oh wow, I'm not terrorized by my menstrual cycle. Like, keep the things in mind that have totally changed in your life, and then it's gonna be easier to stick to. But in addition, I would say you need to eat more fat. If you're craving those other things, you need to be eating more fat so you're not struggling with your habits. Also, don't have the crap in your house to like tempt you. Even though I have 2 small kids, we don't have crap in my house. We have bananas and stuff, but I never like fruit. So like the stuff that would tempt me or used to tempt me, it's not here. So there you go. Get that out of your house. There you
Yeah.
go. Kim.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just like blanking. I'm so sorry.
She's staring at the
Question.
sun. She's basking
Well,
in
the problem is, I'm just gonna share this with you guys, so I don't have to be weird about it. But like, I've got like little bugs crawling. I'm like, and then I'm wondering, is it showing up on my YouTube? It's showing up. So anyway, I'm so sorry. Can you refresh my mind? What was the question? Because I was really
Yeah,
trying to pay attention.
I got you. So what would you say to someone who was struggling to stick to carnivore?
Okay. So there was something that was said previously that really resonated with me, and that was they need to make sure that they're getting the electrolytes. And there are several ways to do that. The easiest way I find with somebody who's going from a standard American diet to carnivore is to just drink 1 or 2 cups of chicken broth a day. It's warm, it's comforting, it kind of makes you feel like you're eating something, but you're not, it's a little filling. And that really helps. It helps to ward off that keto flu. And, the key to sticking with something is to make sure that you eliminate as many negatives as you possibly can. And to me, that was the biggest, most prominent negative in my first old attempts of keto. Now that's kind of like, I don't want to say a rookie mistake because that sounds, kind of cringe, but once you've done this for so much, you can definitely stop yourself from going into the keto flu, because you're dehydrated. You need electrolytes, and you can get those through, the packets. You can make your own at home, which several people, including Dr. Berry, have a video about that. So yeah, and I think just removing like a little bit at a time from your diet, as far as like I would go, full removal of sugar right off the bat, because that's going to get rid of a lot of your cravings. And then after that, I would say, okay, you drink soda, so let's just go to diet soda for a while. I'm more of a realistic, I have to be, I know how I am. And, inside your brain, you're a brat, and you're like, I want this, and I've had this, and I deserve this, and everybody else is doing this. So I just kind of like take one thing at a time. This month I'm going to eliminate sodas. Next month I'm going to eliminate whatever. But I also had the problem that Ron had, in that I was kind of forced into a little bit of this lifestyle because I had a wheat intolerance, and it did give me asthma-like symptoms. They said I didn't have asthma, but if you have asthma symptoms, I mean, and they said it wasn't an allergy, and it's just the body's so mysterious. So there's so many factors. I think working with a coach can help tremendously if you're not either in the medical field or just extremely experienced at, trying different things like that. But that's all.
We can't hear you, Nicole. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I muted because I was typing. Yeah, we got NM personal training here, chiming in from the UK. So Jonathan has some support here from across the pond.
Thank God for that.
So what do you got? What do you got, Jonathan? I'll pop the question back up on the screen as a reminder.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Sophie. How's it going? Yep. Okay, I can answer that one. Yeah. So I'll take it probably from a different standpoint you guys did. I'm a bit abrupt and a bit rude sometimes, but I think the fact is you have to do it for yourself, and the last several 100,000 years of humans that are in your history. The fact is they followed a diet of predominantly meat and fat. They got to this point in time because of exactly that. You don't know the history of your entire ancestry. You don't know how much they struggled to get there where they were at that point in time. You don't know the difficulty that you had to bring up a child, rear a child. You owe it to yourself and your offspring to follow the diet that is most helpful for you. That is obviously the carnivore diet. Now, we can have some infringements along the way, but it has to be measured. You have to be able to accept and be accountable for any infringements that you have upon your diet. I think for some people like myself, it's never going to be optimal to go off the diet. I have to be more strict than some people. Now, other people perhaps have a better hand in terms of their health prospects. So for them, yeah, they could do just keto. They could do ketovore or whatever that happens to be. People like myself, no, I cannot do that. So, I think it's specific to you and your goals. And I think if you are a human being like myself, you have to be willing to thrive and survive and go about your day to optimize what has brought you to this point. You owe it to yourself. That's my key point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like I said, I'm ketovore, so I do have very, very minimal carbs, but I'm not, one of those people who needed to cut everything out. I had to cut most things out, but there are things that I'm okay on. So Jonathan, would you be from down south?
Yeah, so I reside in sunny Bournemouth by the coast. When I'm not at sunny Bournemouth, I'm with Sophie in Woking, which is roughly an hour south of London.
Nice. All right, Dave, what do you got? What do you say to someone who's struggling to stick to carnivore?
Okay, the first thing, and you and I have discussed this before, what one person can eat is different than what another person can tolerate based on several factors, one of which being what their parents ate and their parents' parents ate. That's going to be part of your genetic makeup. And that includes what you're able to handle as far as food goes. So that's why they say, well, how come someone can't handle this, but they can handle that? Well, each person in their ancestry is different. Yes, it does all come back all the way down the line to eating fatty red meat. That's how we thrived as a society, and that is what we need to go back to. But as far as this strictness and, what some people call the carnivore police, if you will,
Dogma.
the dogma, I look at it this way. You need to eat what's right for your body, and everyone needs to stay in their own lane. Like I have a shirt that I designed that's a carnivore police shirt, and it says, exercise authority over your own food. And that is my views on that. But as far as sticking to carnivore, not too long ago, Dr. Ken Berry came back and said, if he could go back in time, he would change the Triple B and E challenge to be Triple B and E and small seafood, or ass as I call it. So Triple B and E ass. It works for a lot of people. A lot of people, they struggle because they don't want to give up seafood. And then I tell them, you can have seafood on carnivore. Carnivore, you can eat any animal product, and it's still carnivore. Well, this person says it's not. Well, I don't care what that person says. They're not you. So you need to do what's right for your body. Sorry to make that so long, but that is my view on the subject.
You said ass, so I'm good with that. I'm good. So I also had this conversation with someone earlier this week about labels, and this was back off Nisha's video, Ken Berry's wife, in case you don't know. And I 100% agree. There are these carnivore police and dogmatic people who, if you call yourself a carnivore and you drink coffee, the claws come out and things like that. So I say don't worry about the label. Don't worry about sticking to strict carnivore or lion diet or ketovore or keto or whatever it is. Just do what's best for you and do what feels good. Whether that's ketovore or carnivore. So I am not big on labels anymore because there's so many people, coming at others in the comment section about that's not carnivore, that's not this, that's not that. Just do what's best for you. I've never called myself carnivore because I have strawberries and blueberries in my fridge. And someone recently said, well, blueberries have oxalates. I was like, cool. But a handful of blueberries a couple times a week, it doesn't bother me. So just do what's best for you. If you want to have minimal carbs in your diet, cool, do that. But I just wouldn't worry about what you're calling yourself. Just do an extreme elimination diet. Go, 100% carnivore. And if you want to, try adding things back in your diet, then do that and just see what works for you. But don't feel like you have to stay carnivore for strict carnivore the rest of your life. I think it's a good starting point as an elimination diet. And then you can kind of slowly add some things in that you think you might want to try to see how it truly affects you. But don't feel like you have to stay strict your entire life. I think it's a good starting point, and then you can kind of figure out where you want to go from there.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's what's worked. That's what's worked for me and many other people, I'm sure. Shell, just plain old Shell. She says she started carnivore in February, so just a few months ago. She had her eyesight checked 2 weeks ago, and her eyesight has improved nearly 20/20 again. I'm 63. Is it because of the carnivore diet? Damn, Shell. First off, congratulations. That's amazing. I know Ron and I had an interview. It's never too late to start the carnivore diet or to change your lifestyle. So that's
Absolutely
amazing. So Ron, since we like starting with you, what do you say about that? I always say carnivore can't cure everything, but it can help most things. So what do you say about that?
Well, no, carnivore does not cure everything. Last year I had cataract surgery, and they'd been watching my cataracts for over a year, and I just decided that to go ahead and get them removed. The doctor said that they were bad enough now that they could be removed and my insurance would cover the procedures. So I did that. I mean, I had the cataracts before I started carnivore, and they were gradually getting worse. So carnivore did not help my cataract.
Okay. What do you say about that, Aaliyah?
That's awesome, and I have no idea, but if it did do that, that's great, and I really hope it happens to me because I'm super nearsighted.
It didn't help my vision. I actually just got prescribed my first pair of prescription eyeglasses, so it didn't help me. But I will say, when I cut out the high oxalate foods, because I was eating a ton of spinach, unlike Jonathan, I was a smoothie queen and doing all those things because after the gym, that's a bro thing to do, right? So I was eating high oxalates, and I know Ron shaking his head no, but I was eating high oxalates, and I noticed I felt like I had sandpaper in my eyes, like sand pebbles. So once I eliminated all the green leafy vegetables and all that stuff from my diet, my eyes in that sense have improved, but my eyesight itself I'm on prescription eyeglasses now, so unfortunately, I'm not benefiting from improved eyesight. What do you say about that, Kim?
Well, I definitely think that it can improve in some people. Mine, so my actual prescription did not improve. I pretty much never wear my glasses because I had 20/20 vision until I was 30 something. So, it's not a habit for me, and I can't even drive without mine. So I'm not really an expert on it, but I did notice a lot of blurriness with just my high sugar diet, basically. And that makes sense because it's doing damage. It's doing damage everywhere in your body. The glycation from all the sugar. So, as far as that went, it feels like it's gotten less blurry, but like my actual prescription hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So, I do think it's possible though, because I've heard Dr. Berry and others, other like really big doctors and stuff in the carnivore space and the keto space talk about it.
Yeah. What do you got, Jonathan? And then Dave, you can chime in if you have anything to add.
Yeah. I'm a bit unsure about the question. I mean, the carnivore diet won't fix everything, of course not.
Right.
You can use it as a diagnostic tool, though. That's one of the ways that I used it. So around about 15 years ago, roughly, I had an injury playing rugby in Italy. That basically knocked my spine out of position in the L5, S1 vertebrae. I lost pretty much up to the point all of my disc in that area, pinched on my nerves and affected my mobility and things like that. Now, I tried all the diets to reduce inflammation. I was successful with the carnivore diet at reducing inflammation. I noticed when I did like a, head to tail, head to toe analysis of myself, like, oh, what's my eyesight like? What's my skin like? What's my digestion like? What's my joints like? All these sort of things. You can actually give yourself a score out of 10 and see from week 1 to a year down the line, like my partner Sophie is right now. You can make an assessment, what has improved and what hasn't. And you'll find for some things it will improve a lot. Now for me, in regards to my spine disease thing, I used it as a diagnostic tool. I realised my inflammatory markers all went down to 0 with the diet, so brilliant, successful. I realised, okay, I needed more scans, I needed more diagnostics to underpin what was wrong with my spine. Then I had the MRI, and that pointed out quite clearly I had a spine disease. So that's kind of how I think it's useful. So I do highly recommend people go from head to toe, make some little notes. My eyesight isn't very good. When I wake up, my eyesight's blurry or something like that. My digestion isn't good. Then reassess a month later, a month later. It's a big science experiment what we're doing here, guys. We're not doing something which is promoted by anyone. So you have to be your own N equals 1, and you'll find that overall your health outcomes will be better as a result of the diet, and whether that's ketovore, carnivore, low carb, something will improve.
Yeah, 100%. We did have a comment from Mike who said retinopathy and other eye-related issues are caused by insulin resistance. It may take time for these to improve. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have anything to add on that, Dave?
When it comes to anything about eyesight, I always refer people to Dr. Lisa Wiedemann.
Yep.
As far as eyesight goes and anything to do with macular issues or anything to do with your eyes, I always recommend people go listen to her. She's very knowledgeable in this area. That is her profession.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is, comes kind of back to what I said before. Each person is different, and what you've done to your body will determine how long something is going to take to regenerate, repair, or improve, or maybe it won't. It just depends. There is no fix-all for everything, and that includes carnivore.
Yeah, absolutely. Is her YouTube channel the Carnivore Doc?
I believe it is the Carnivore Doctor.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think too. So go check out the Carnivore Doc on YouTube and watch some of her videos. She actually has good recipes on her channel as well.
She does.
Yeah, she does a lot of cooking.
She was one of the ones that I was thinking of when I knew I had heard that some people's do improve, and I remember her saying that now, and among
Yeah.
other things, she has her video with her interview with Dr. Berry was really good.
Oh, I
Yes.
don't think I saw that one. I have to go back and watch that
Bart
one.
Kay's another example of someone that's improved their
Absolutely.
eyesight.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, he had
okay.
macular degeneration. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll be able to get rid of my prescription glasses I literally just got this year. So that'll be awesome.
Anything's possible.
So we did have another question from Robert Bubba Baker. I love that. I wonder what else people on the panel are doing besides carnivore to improve their physical and mental health. Oh, this is a great question. And yeah, I think we can get a little deep with this one. Ron, why don't you kick this off?
Well, this morning I spent 2.5 hours in the gym. I finished up deadlifting, and I have a stack of books, and I'm going to the library today. I'm physically active. I walk every time I go to the gym. I'm intellectually stimulated. I read an hour every day. I mean, I try to learn something new every day. And I would suggest everybody try that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My turn.
Your turn.
Okay, so to understand this, you have to understand that I was like a pretty couch potato-y before I started carnivore, and then within like the first week of starting carnivore, I just wanted to do more things, and I was more active, and I was more willing to like take my kids to the park. Let's go to the pool. We have a pool right here where we live. It's huge, and so I just started doing more of these things. Obviously, moving your body more, you're gonna do better. You're gonna physically feel better, and so I don't even watch TV anymore, and I think that's good, or very little TV. I used to watch tons of TV, tons of movies, and I'm sure that watching less TV is going to improve somebody's mental health.
Yeah.
Just there. And going outside and being in the sun is going to improve your mental health. I also like to read self-help books and listen to some audiobooks. I was recently listening to Atomic Habits. I like some of the information in there. So yeah, I'm kind of with Ron on learning new things and understanding the mind more and how it's related. And just being on carnivore, you feel like you want to move more, and that is going to help. And you want to do more. Like I said, the pool parties after this live streaming, the kids are going to the pool.
Right on.
Yeah.
Leah's at the pool like every day. She runs.
Almost.
She runs.
Almost. And I was late to our first live stream because I was confused on the time, and I had wet hair and no makeup on. It was very funny.
Yeah, well, I say that largely out of jealousy too. So.
Okay, come visit. Come visit. We have a bed for you. You can go to the pool.
Just for Nicole.
Yeah.
What do you got, Kim? What do you got, Kim?
Well, so I've been trying to, with all this energy that I have now, I've been trying to walk more. I have always read a ton of self-help books, and I consider myself to be kind of like a health hacker. I rely very little on actual doctors, which is pretty ironic since, I'm around
you're
them
a
all
nurse.
the time. I've got a video coming out pretty soon that might make some people mad if they see it. I'm just saying. I'm like, ooh, how inflammatory do I want to be? How much of the truth do I actually want to tell? It's a fine line. I still have a job at the hospital. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've always read a lot of self-help books. The moving more, years ago, I started just standing all the time. So I almost never sat down. I never watched TV. I listen to YouTube in my headphones, and I'm constantly just up and doing stuff. That being said, I'm still, but prior to carnivore, I was still 50 pounds overweight. So, I have a lot of metabolic issues, and I was not eating the best. I was doing this, whole thing like this. I'm just trying to be more consistent now. And then also a biggie is I have recently gotten off of my Adderall. So that may be good. It may have its bad parts, like, what was the question again? But I have found that if I eat sardines on a regular basis, those omega-3s, they are really a big brain booster, and I love sardines. So, but you have to find the right ones. Don't go to Walmart or your corner store and get a thing of sardines and just think, oh, these taste like garbage. If they taste bad, I promise you it's not the right sardines, because I'm not a fish eating person at all. Okay. I like tuna. I barely like salmon, and I love sardines. So I can tell you a brand and a type to get, and I promise you will love them. But they have brain power, so that's been helping me out a lot. My goal is to get off of all my medications, so that's hopefully going to improve my physical and mental health a lot. I've been taking, I took so many meds I could barely cram them into that little Sunday through Saturday thing, and
Wow.
now I'm down to 2.
Nice.
Other than like vitamin D supplement, I do that just because. But I'm down to Wellbutrin and what is it, Claritin, and the Claritin's kind of like I'm trying to do every other day. It's really not good for like long term for your memory and stuff. It can affect your memory, and I do not need that at all. I've already got plenty of memory problems. So yeah. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, before we move to Jonathan, Shell wants to know the sardines. Please tell us the sardines.
on.
I tried some and couldn't handle them.
Okay, hold on. I think
She's got them in her purse.
Oh my
I
God.
do. I usually do. I think I might have ate them last night at work, though. I can go get them, or I can text my husband and tell him to go get them. And go to the next person. I'll show you in a minute, okay?
All right, Jonathan, what you got? What do you do besides diet to improve your health?
An awful lot. It would shock most of you. It would really shock all of you, actually. Yeah.
But we only have so much time here.
We only have so much time.
I could have gone
Unfortunately,
on,
I've got notes.
Oh, jeez. He has a laundry list.
Yeah, so I've got a video coming out in 2 days. This will expand upon all my points that I'll make now, but I'll just headline them.
Okay.
On the point of memory, yeah, that's why I've got some notes here. So first point, other than obviously the diet, is be connected with the earth and Mother Nature. Means going out bearside, rivers, beaches, in the sea, doing something outside. People don't often do this, which is forgotten about, and I think it's very underrated. Adequate sleep and mindfulness. That means going to sleep when it's bedtime, appropriate hygiene for sleep. Mindfulness when you're eating. So you're eating your meal, you're not watching TV. Let your brain recognize that signal that you're eating food, and you should produce enzymes to do exactly that. This kind of reiterates Ron's point, which is develop a body to perform. So that means have a body that is fit and able to do what you have to do in a given day. Another one, social connections, so building friendships and relationships like we're doing now, I guess. Spending time with loved ones, family, children, whatever. Another one, on the point of Kimberly's point, is stop using substances. So that means alcohol, caffeine, drugs, anything which you're not meant to take. Not medical advice, but, take it for what it's worth. Last one is regular health checkups, or at least measurements of your own body's subjective kind of health markers. So it means you might either have a blood test, or you might just mention, like I mentioned earlier, like check in how you feel each day. Out of probably, hundreds of hours of reading, they're the biggest things that you can do right now. Someone watching this can actually apply these things right now. So if they're not doing it today, do it tomorrow at least. There's something you can actively do, and they're going to be the best chance you can have to improve your mental and physical health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that, Dave?
I always have something to add. Something.
Yeah. We're gonna start with you next time, so you can lead it off.
Okay. As far as caffeine goes, there's absolutely no reason for caffeine to be in the human body. It is not required for a single solitary thing. And I found that when I dropped caffeine 100%, my sleeping got so much better. So much better. I sleep sound. I go into deep sleep. I get restful, regenerative sleep. That's when your body does its most healing. So caffeine, cut it. That's my advice on that. As far as physical goes, I like doing slow burn exercise, if anyone's familiar with that. I walk a lot. I park in the back of truck stops so that I have to walk. And I used to park right in the front row if I could get to it. And because I was fat, I was metabolically a disaster, and I had a hard time walking a couple 100 feet without being out of breath. Now, I went to the world's largest truck stop not too long ago, holds 900 trucks in that parking lot. That's Iowa 80 in Iowa, Walcott, Iowa. I not only walked from the back of the lot to the main building, I also walked in between. I walked around the perimeter. I walked everywhere. And I also kind of got bored doing it. But I was thinking to myself as I'm walking, it's like, I didn't used to be able to do this. This would have been a challenge. I would have died, probably. So making these small changes make a big effect on what you can do with your body. And energy through the roof. Since I went carnivore, through the roof. Energy, 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 energy. I don't require as much sleep as I used to require. I can get up with 4 hours of sleep and I'm fully recharged and ready to go. Do I do that every day? No. But on days when I have to, doesn't faze me. I can get up, do my job, take off, do whatever I need to do. And so much happier for it. So much happier. And as far as spiritual goes, if you've got something spiritual to go to it. I've been redeveloping my personal relationship with God. That's my choice. That's where I find my spirituality. And I've been finding a lot of answers lately to a lot of questions just by going back and building that relationship again. Even in the Bible, did you know that God said when it came to the ark that the animals that were brought onto it were going to be used for our food? I didn't know that. I went back and read it. It's there. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think to go along with Jonathan's point, I call these the 5 pillars of aging. I use this with a lot of my senior clients, but this applies for everyone. And the 5 pillars, and these are self-explanatory, literally nutrition, of course, hydration, movement or exercise, cognitive stimulation, which I know Ron hits on, and then social stimulation. So if you have all 5 of those in your life, and these are going to look different for everyone on what you use for social and exercise and cognition and all that stuff. But if you have all 5, then you're setting yourself up for success long term. But Kim says that she has the awesome sardines.
Yay. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
I
that's
got
the
these.
one.
Yeah, I got these at Costco. However, and I thought that I was out of luck when I went to Florida and I ran out and they didn't have a Costco in Florida where I was at. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. And then I went to Walmart and I thought, well, I'm just going to look and see what kind of stuff they have. And I looked and there they were. So I was so happy they taste so good. So it's, the brand is Season. I'll show them again.
Nice.
But I promise you will like these. I promise.
Now I do those,
If you
but
don't
in
like
water.
them, I'll give you your money back. How about that?
What did you say, Dave?
Oh, I just saying I do those as well, but I do the ones in water. I don't do the olive oil.
Oh yeah, I love the olive oil. And then I also picked up the mackerel because I've
I
not
haven't
tried
tried those yet.
mackerel. So I'm just gonna try it.
Nice. Shell says she just took a screenshot. So yeah, so we've been at this for pretty much an hour. I don't see
Oh, wow.
any other.
I
know,
have a
right?
question. I have a
What's up?
question. I have a question for Jonathan. So how would one figure out their optimal body weight? Or yeah, so I'll give my own example. So I'm 182 pounds now. I'm down like almost like 27 or 30 pounds depending on the day, depending on how much water I drink. And so that's like 82 kilos. I'm 5'4". I think that's like 64 centimeters. How would I figure out what my optimum body composition is? And how?
That's a good question.
Okay, I wonder if you know. I think you might know.
Yeah. The best way to go about that isn't a calculator.
Okay.
I know it isn't, because I don't feel my best when I've been 95 kilos before. I feel too light. I'm gaunt. I feel emaciated. I'm anemic.
Oh wow.
My joints hurt. I'm tired. So that's not the optimal weight for me. You won't find a calculation which will tell you. The best way to go about it is to look at your health markers. So you might have a blood test. You might say, okay, I'm not deficient in any vitamins and minerals. Fine. So you have that one. You then look at how you feel. Like Carnivore Werewolf mentioned, like, are you sleeping well? Do you go about your day quite happily? Are you able to perform given tasks? Yes or no? Say you've got children. Are you able to pick them up, walk with them to and from school, things like that? Yes or no? If you can do all those tasks and you're not at risk of different diseases, then that's probably your ideal body weight. I think people obsess about numbers and things, and I don't think that's optimal. At the same time, there are people out there, of course, that are seemingly visually overweight, but they can perform all the tasks they have to do with ease. Is that fitness? I don't know. But that's where additional testing would come in. But I think for the most part, as long as you're following the carnivore diet, you'll eventually find your optimal weight. And I think your appetite will put you in good stead. I don't think that it will lie to you. My optimal ideal weight, for example, right now to do my tasks I have to do, somewhere between 105 and 110 kilos. How do I know that? Because whilst following the carnivore diet, I'm also trying to build muscle. I'm a bodybuilder. Me getting to 111 kilos is a real pain in the backside. I really have to force feed in a way. So that's not my ideal body weight. My body's not primed and in position to get to that point. So I'd have to force myself to do it, therefore it isn't healthy. And by forcing myself, I feel sick. I'm not sleeping as well. So all that goes out the window. So that's how you're going to work out your ideal body weight.
Yeah.
Great.
I definitely agree, because you can't go by the BMI or any of that stuff, because everyone's individual and your body does like homeostasis. Your body will tell you when you're good.
Sure.
So my ideal body weight for my height, I'm 5 feet. I don't know what that is in centimeters, but I'm short. So like my ideal body weight would be like literally like 115 or 120. There's no way in hell I'll feel good there. I have big hips, I have broad shoulders, I'm muscular. But if I go by that, then I would have to starve myself to get that low.
Right.
So, because I know you're like me, I know you're still trying to lose weight and get where you want to be, but your body will tell you
Sure.
when it's good and where you feel your best.
Great. Yeah, obviously, like,
Yeah.
I'm not 18
Hey, real-
anymore. I'm not going to be 100 pounds. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
120 pounds like I was when I was 18, and I've had 2 kids, and your hormones completely change. And being
So,
on the
I
doorstep
like-
of 40.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt,
No, it's
but
okay.
I like the weight to height waist to height ratio.
Yeah.
If I can talk, Dr. Berry prefers to go by that, and it makes sense. You know, it's your waist circumference tells a whole lot about your health. And
Yep.
I mean, I hate to say that, like, I'm not fat shaming or anything. I love people no matter what their size is, but like myself, I would like to help them improve and improve their health. You know, it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel, and it's about like true markers of health,
Absolutely.
and that can be measured.
I'm just going to mention this thing because it has come up on the screen from Shell, mentioning bone size. I might, Nicole, maybe you want to chime in with this first. If not, I'll say something about it.
What's her?
Shell,
her-
just plain old
Oh,
Shell.
I see it.
Yeah.
Bone size is important too. If big bone, so my mom is a nurse, and I know Kim might say the same thing. So, and I don't mean this to be snarky. This is just the way my mom always explains it. When everyone says I'm big boned, have you ever seen a skeleton with big bones? So that's really not a thing. We all have different body structures. Like some people might have broader shoulders. We're not all genetically able to get the hourglass shape or to get X body type if you're trying to put on muscle or whatever, but that has to do with genetics. We all have our genetic limits, but it has nothing to do with bones specifically. But I don't know if Kim wants to chime in on that too, but yeah, since you're also a nurse, but that's what my mom likes to say. Have you ever seen a skeleton with big bones?
Yeah, I've always heard that, big bones isn't really a thing. That being said, especially in children, we used to think that one of my sons was big boned, he came out bigger. Like even as a little baby, he wasn't fat. He was just bigger. And this child is now about 6'2", and he's 17. So, and we're all like little, you know, I'm 5'2". My husband is, I think he's 5'10", 5'11". I mean, he's not super short or anything, but he's not super tall. So yeah, this child just grew up to be a big boy. So he's like he could be probably a linebacker if he wanted to. But yeah, I don't really think that it's a real thing. I mean, I could be proven wrong, but I've always heard that it wasn't a real thing. But it makes us feel better. And then she did say that she thinks that when her body stops losing weight, that she's optimal. Yes and no. You know, it could be, or it could simply be that you've got some hormone issues that need to be corrected first before your body feels comfortable. You know, it's like my dad, Dr. Barry, says. I love Dr. Barry. I'm always referring to him. So, like, if he starts a cult, I'm taking my whole family down to Tennessee. We're right there, you know. But no, seriously. But no, he always says that your body's not stupid, you know, your body's not dumb. It's in like preservation mode if you're not losing weight. There's a reason, like there's something biochemically stopping it from that. And we just have to figure it out. Or we just have to stay consistent till it gets past that, you know, little, people say plateau of, you know, okay, we're going to lose weight. And then back in the day, if we would lose tons and tons and tons of weight, it's a danger to your life. So your body doesn't want to do that. It's against nature. So when we have to lose all this weight, sometimes we have to just take it, you know, okay, let's do it for a while. And then now our body's going to kind of equalize a little bit. So
yeah, we can pass the baton to Jonathan, but I will say when it comes to weight loss, our metabolism, so of course the heavier you are, the faster and easier it is for you to drop body fat, right? Because your metabolism is naturally faster because it's working harder for everyday tasks, just breathing, beating your heart, standing, sitting. So the more body fat you lose, your metabolism starts to adjust because it's not working as hard to move that amount of mass around. So that's really what the plateau is you found your new set point, and then you just have to adjust your intake a little bit. But the more weight you lose, your metabolism naturally adjusts to that, because it's not working as hard as when you carried around more fat or body mass. Jonathan, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the average skeleton of, say, maybe Elia, you know, you're quite short in stature, I imagine.
Yeah.
So your skeleton might weigh 5 or 6 pounds.
Oh wow! I thought it would weigh more, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Nicole said. It's tiny. It's
Okay.
like a feather. My skeleton, I'm about 6'1". It might weigh maybe 9-10 pounds. But it seems to be based on mostly height. There's very little variation between your actual height. Now, some people will be built bigger, but you'll look at that person and you'll see straight away, okay, they're built bigger. You can tell that they're not over fat. The example of Sophie, so she was in the chat earlier, she weighs, I probably can't disclose this, but she weighs quite a significant weight. But if you measure her body fat in relation to her muscle mass, it's quite a different picture. She has a lot more muscle than the average male. She probably has more muscle on her body than the average male that would watch this video. In her muscle mass is more than the average weight of the average male. If you look at her and you look at the size of her muscles, she does have a lot of muscle on her body. Now, if she was to set her goal and say, okay, I want to lose 20 kilos, she would actually be emaciated. So it wouldn't look good. So there are definitely outliers that just hold weight in a certain way. And like I said, back to the point of like the nature argument, homeostatic mechanisms, you know, your body's going to go to that point, then when it doesn't want to go anymore, it's going to tell you, flipping, pack it in and stop it. And one measurement which might be useful to some people watching this is a fat-free mass index. And for men, I think somewhere around like 20 to 21 would be useful. Women, 17 to 18. So the way you'd work that out, I believe, is with, I want to say it's a waist measurement maybe, or body fat and height. than your total weight, something like that. So you need a few more measurements to make it up, but that will give you a good idea of what you should be aiming for. But like I said, it's very individual, and it doesn't say everything about your health. So
Right. Does anyone else have anything to add to that? Shell does have another question, but does anyone else, Dave or Ron?
Well, I do have a comment. I grew up here in the central United States, and being big boned is a euphemism for being overweight.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with.
Yeah, exactly. Dave, do you have anything to add or a comment? No?
The only thing I say is when it comes to measurements or anything, macros, I just do whatever I think my ideal body weight would be and eat that in protein. And that seems to work for me.
Yeah.
So I'll just add back to we'll swing back around to me for a second. So in my 20s, I think I was 27, I was very skinny. I actually did basically ketovore, carnivore, but I got really skinny. But the problem was I was like a heavy smoker. I still drink coffee. I will try to work on getting rid of the coffee. A heavy smoker, heavy coffee drinker, but I lost a lot of weight really fast. But I think I had basically no boobs, and I don't remember sleeping this good. So those are also markers of like health. Like I don't remember feeling this good. I'm heavier now. I'm 60 pounds heavier now than I was then, but I'm sleeping better. I feel better. I'm not smoking. Oh, I think I was also on the pill at that time, probably around that time. Maybe not at that point, but I was on and off the pill. Also terrible decision. And that had to do with my menstrual cycle more than anything else to like help deal with that. But now just eating this way, even 60 pounds heavier than I was then, I feel better.
Yeah.
I have boobs. The boobs didn't go away first.
Well, the last thing I'll add before we get to Shell is unfortunately media is a thing now, right? So you know, I'm about to be 43 in a few months. So you know, I grew up in the 80s, and social media wasn't a thing. Like we didn't even have internet until, you know, years after, you know, till I was a teenager almost. So the problem is we have all these like models and fitness influencers and all that, and there's a lot of bodybuilders dying. Like a lot recently have died because I follow a lot of fitness influencers because I love lifting. I'm a power lifter, and I will say social media is a blessing and a curse at the same time. So we have a lot of, and I'm speaking more for women because I think this is more of a problem, is that we have all these influencers who have abs all year round and, you know, they're very muscular and all that. The problem is women, that's not good for us. Like you can risk losing your cycle, which might be awesome at first, right? But it's really not good for your health, and you're really doing detriment to your hormones. So women, we need to carry around a certain amount of body fat to maintain normal hormone function, because we're built to carry babies. That's just the way nature intended us. It is what it is, whether you have a baby or not. We still need to have a certain amount of body fat. So I will say, because of social media, that women specifically feel like they have to get to look a certain way, and they have to get to a certain leanness and all that. And I just want to say that's not healthy necessarily long term. So don't feel like you have to be a certain weight just to look and feel good, because you may look good, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be metabolically healthy or hormonally healthy. So that's the one caveat I will make, because I know that's a huge problem, especially for women with EDs and all that stuff nowadays in recent years.
Yeah, totally agree.
So Shell says, and Jonathan, this is good for you. Muscle weighs more than fat. Yes. Question mark. So measurements are more important than weight. Yes.
Yeah. Well, also, what's comprised of that measurement? Like, I don't know. Right now, I've got like an 18.5, 19-inch arm. Great. But I'm also not 5% body fat, so it wouldn't translate well to a bodybuilding stage. Now, if I lost the body fat, I might have an 18-inch arm. So, yeah. I mean, you look at, ultimately, you know, you're looking in the mirror and you'll either like or dislike what you see. I think sometimes people push too hard and they try to go against the body's own signals to try and achieve something that's
Right.
potentially unattainable. Just have realistic goals, I think it comes down to.
Yeah, that pretty much is kind of a continuation on what I was saying for women. Got semi-retired
hey,
Bob.
Bob.
What's up?
Morning, Bob.
That's
What's
good.
up, Minimalist
Bob.
Carnivore? Agree on optimal weight. Took me 1.5 years to get it now stable for last 2 years, and with 2 pounds swing stable.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's all the questions. Mike did say when I said we've been at it for an hour that we're not vegan, so we can keep going.
Right.
Yeah, we've got tons of energy.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, so does anyone else have anything they want to discuss? I don't see any other questions
So,
or anything in the chat.
I just wanted to add to what she had asked about the muscle weighing more than fat. I actually put it into the comments. So yes, muscle does technically weigh more than fat, but my main thing is I think that you will intuitively know when you get to that point for you. It's different for everyone. I mean, yes, track the numbers for everything. Track your labs, track, your weight, track your measurements, all that jazz. But when it comes down to it, we're not a set of numbers. We're, we're supposed to be exactly perfect the way that we are. If we feel perfect at this weight, that's fine. I said that kind of funny, but it's different for everybody. Body type we have to consider. I like Alia for different reasons. Am not going to look good if I weigh 120 pounds. That would be really bad for me. So it's just, I think you're gonna know. I believe in going with just your intuitive instinct about what's right for you. Certain people don't want to put pepper on things. Pepper's great for me. This is just such a personal. We have to tailor this to the person, and again, why coach is good.
Yeah.
It's what you can tolerate versus what someone else can tolerate.
Absolutely. Because I have no reason to eliminate spices that I love. That helps me stay on this carnivore journey. Whereas, one of you might say, oh no, it's just salt or nothing,
Yeah, I agree. I have avocado. I have berries. I'm definitely less than 15, 20 grams of carbs, but I do have minimal carbs because that's what's sustainable for me, and I enjoy eating that way. Pepper makes me sneeze. I can't do pepper though.
This is not a religion,
Yeah.
We're not
No.
in a cult, okay?
Yeah.
We are people trying to improve our health, and I think the carnivore community is actually a lot better than some others that I've been in.
Oh yeah.
I've never been a member of the vegan or vegetarian community,
Yeah.
but I've seen some stuff from them, and then also just even the keto. At first, the amount of keto police it was just over the top. This is not keto. That's not keto. Well, guess what, people? Keto is not a thing. It's a certain amount of carbs, kind of thing. It's a way of eating. It's not this could fit into it, and it's different for everybody. Either you do or you don't want that thing to fit in there. It's your business,
Well, I think Dave and I can tell you about the vegan cult. I actually did a video that came out earlier this week or last week. I can't keep track, about this protest that took place in Australia.
Oh yeah.
That was wild. So yeah, if vegans are
Tosh.
they're, oh my God. Yeah. So we do have, is it the Church of Steak?
Hallelujah. Sign me up.
And I do have vegans that I love too. So, one of my best friends next door is probably hearing me talk right now. She's a vegetarian, so she's, and then I have another friend that's a vegan. But
it's all in good fun, as long as they don't judge how I eat. I don't judge them.
Absolutely. And I even did a recent reaction video to Nisha's video she put out about not wanting to use the term carnivore. I think you saw it, Nicole.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty opinionated in that matter.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just do you. I don't think anyone on this call has, anything or actually, I think the majority of the carnivore space, and I say carnivore like low carb space, are supportive. You have the outliers, and I think, those are the dogmatic people that myself, Dave, and Nisha are talking about, are just the outliers. But Mike, are you planning on another Sunday Carnivore Live episode? We can.
We've got one in August 16th.
August 6th, yeah.
August 6th or 16th?
August
I was like,
6th.
wait a minute.
Oh, wow. I better fix my calendar.
Yeah, August 6th is a Sunday. August 16th is a Wednesday.
Oh, okay, August 6th. Yeah, I'm fixing my calendar.
August 6th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And I'm hosting, so I better be there.
Yeah.
Right on.
But yeah, last call for questions. Or if anyone on the panel has anything that they want to discuss, or any questions that they wanna chat about, let it fly.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Usually I
It was
don't
fun.
enjoy speaking to people, but it's been quite pleasant. So
I was really nervous at first, especially Jonathan. You're really intimidating.
I am.
You're very serious,
Yes.
and I'm like not serious at all. So I'm like, oh god, I don't know if I'm gonna.
Aw.
Yeah,
Well, we actually
yeah.
did.
I do
get-
smile very occasionally, but don't
Yay.
ask too much of me.
You smiled quite a bit. We got you to smile on this stream. We got you to smile.
Yeah,
We saw
We'll
some
take that
teeth.
as a success. We'll take that as a group success.
We saw Jonathan's teeth. So we got Carno Dane. Can having too much electrolytes, vitamin D3, iodine, or vitamin K3 cause any pain in wrist? I only have beef, bacon, eggs, peppermint tea, and lemon tea, and still have wrist pain. Who wants to take a stab at this? Dave, you wanna lead? Oh, Jonathan, what you got?
Dave, you go first. I'll go next.
As far as too many electrolytes, I would probably, from what I understand, listening to the carnivore doctors, no. If you have too many electrolytes, you're just going to pee it out pretty much. Vitamin K3, I do a vitamin K2 D3. Not too familiar on the K3. So there we go. That's what I've got to say about it. Now let's let the expert talk.
It might have been a typo there. K3 will probably kill you if you had to supplement with that. It does exist, but it would probably kill you. That's why they don't sell it. Good question. Now, K2, if you're talking about that would direct more calcium into your bones in specific areas. If you're in a position where you have potentially hard plaque, that could cause your blood vessel to actually burst. So, it's got more of an indication to not be used if it's to do with heart health. At least if you're using it in the wrong instance. So, K2 supplementation, especially K2, depending on the molecular format that it's in, so be it MK4 or MK7, that's individual and it's something you need to do your own reading up on. Now, pain in wrist, probably not. Your body is pretty good at chucking things out, like Dave said, that it doesn't need. The same with electrolytes. Iodine, not so much. These sort of things are trace things, like vitamin D and iodine. They're trace things you can take in supplemental form. But because they're supplemented, you don't have a feedback mechanism of your body to clearly identify that you've had too much. It's not like eating a fatty steak and being able to say, okay, I've had too much fat this meal, I've got diarrhea for the next 3-4 hours. There's not an obvious feedback system with supplements. That's the problem with a lot of supplements. Iodine deficiency doesn't actually seem to be that common. I don't think I've actually ever met anyone that's shown a blood test where they've said, I'm deficient in iodine. It's mostly symptomatic by the sounds of it. Electrolytes, if you're a long-term carnivore and you're using electrolytes still, I'll be very, very surprised. I'd say beyond about maybe the 3-month mark, you probably don't need anything like that. peppermint tea, lemon tea. I think it's just situational. I think it could be anything. It could be oxalate dumping. People have linked that to different bone issues. It could be that something you're doing in your lifestyle's negatively affecting it. Perhaps you lean your arm like that, or you sleep like that all day. Maybe that's the cause of it. I'd be looking more at lifestyle than the supplements you're taking, but for the most part, probably wouldn't be using those things anyway. I think living naturally, so going outside, getting sunlight, is most useful. Iodine, in the case of having, sardines, mackerel. There's iodine in eggs. There's iodine in raw milk. Same with K2. Lots of K2 in chicken thighs. Lots of K2 in raw milk as well, actually. A lot of studies which you look at which kind of say what is and isn't in these foods, they're not very accurate, and oftentimes they don't actually test for these things. But people have independently tested these things and said, oh, okay, it is actually in it, but we've just not measured it. So yeah, that's kind of it for me on that kind of question.
Yeah, I think just a couple things to add. Electrolytes, if you do, there is a such thing as too much. There's too much of everything, right? You can overconsume things. If you do have too much electrolytes, it's not like gonna kill you or anything, but you could be dizzy, you could be vomiting, you could have diarrhea and things like that. So it can have adverse effects.
It actually could kill you.
Okay, yeah.
If
Too
you
much
have too
potassium
many
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Salt, even. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not gonna. The chances of you doing that at home are not very likely. But I'm in a world where we give things through IV, so I can't say that too much electrolytes won't kill you, because it definitely will.
That's what I was talking about, like at home, like just the average person just taking a supplement, an electrolyte supplement. Yeah. I actually had dangerously low potassium many years ago, and I did almost die. But just a normal everyday person just supplementing with electrolytes while eating, that's really what I was talking about. But good point, Kim. But yeah,
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not being critical. I'm just...
That was a good point. But yeah, I was just talking to everyday, just pounding a supplement. But
yeah,
at the most people will have like diarrhea, dizziness, vomiting, and stuff like that. I also wanted to point out with the recommendations for all these nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and just everything out there with the guidelines and recommendations. Similar to vitamin C, which vitamin C is in meat, contrary to what the USDA says, but similar to vitamin C, those recommendations are based off of a high carb diet. So they're not based off of how we're eating with carnivore, ketovore. So I would use my logical thinking and say if we're eating a primarily meat-based diet and very minimal, if any carbs at all in our diet, the same would hold true for other vitamins and minerals as vitamin C. So glucose affects the absorption and absorbability of vitamin C. So we don't need as much vitamin C with the removal of carbs or glucose. So I would think the same would hold true for all these other vitamins and minerals. So if you're following a predominantly meat-based diet, you truly, in my opinion, don't need as much as the recommendations and the guidelines say you do, because you're not having that glucose component that's going to affect the absorbability of those vitamins and minerals. Again, it's just my opinion, but logically thinking, I would think the same would hold true for some of these other supplements and minerals.
Nicole,
and I have to add that I'm sorry.
No, Karen.
That none of us are actually giving medical advice here,
Correct.
regardless of our titles or our jobs outside of here.
Correct.
Just because, I'm sure most of you know that, but we can't really give advice. We can just give our opinions. But in my opinion, out of those things that you've listed there, for wrist pain, I would think it would probably be more likely to be something that you were consuming. Maybe your body doesn't like the peppermint or lemon tea. Maybe you have something in your bacon that's an additive, or, who knows? Or maybe your body doesn't like eggs. You could have a intolerance to eggs. Who knows? I think that's why the carnivore diet is so good, is because it's really like the ultimate elimination diet. But I would start with the peppermint tea and the lemon tea and take those out. And
I agree.
As far as the other things, I don't know that they're necessary, but if you feel better with the electrolytes and the vitamin D3, K2, if you feel better with that, I don't think there's any problem with it. But I definitely don't think that it's the beef causing the problem. So you may need, if you still have wrist pain, you may need to go down to like a lion diet for, a little short amount of time, and then kind of add one thing back at a time, just like we all know to do on any elimination diet.
I might put the yolks in. Maybe you do have an egg intolerance, and just leave the whites out and just try the yolk and see if that works.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
did you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean the intolerance probability of someone having an intolerance to eggs is like 1%. It's very 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 slim. But yeah, you could try getting rid of the white and just having the yolk still. Yeah. So what I wanted to ask Nicole, so what you're gonna know? What is the RDA for potassium?
Oh, I don't know that off the top of my head. Do you know, Kim, off the top of your head?
I'm sorry, the recommend daily announced
For
RDA for
potassium.
potassium.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Let
I'd
me
have
look
to
it up real quick.
Oh yeah, I was
It's
looking it up
it's
also.
4.7 grams.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has 1,600 to 2,000 micrograms. Or milligrams, sorry.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
recently updated to 4.6 grams.
Okay.
I take in through my, there's a point I'm trying to make. So I take in through my diet around 2 grams per day. So less than half of the RDA of potassium. I'm very heavy and I go to the gym. So that tells you how far off those other RDAs can possibly be.
Right.
So that's why I think, although you can look at these nutrition charts and things and all this, that and the other, do you have a deficiency in the minerals? Can you show a proof of it in some way? Yes or no? In most cases, it's no. The fact is that most people aren't fat adapted. They're cheating on their diet, and they like to take supplements because they like to spend money on stuff because they think it gives them a small win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So those RDAs are based off the standard American diet. We're not following the standard American diet. So
No.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jonathan's talking about, is what I was the point I was making, is those RDAs aren't for our diet that we're following. They're for the standard American diet. Yeah. So Dave, Ron, Aaliyah, do you guys have anything that you want to add to that?
No.
I have
Okay.
one thing. I got one thing. Eliminate seed oils. No seed oils.
Yeah. I think there was another question in here. I'm trying to scroll through the chat here. So Carno Dane said weight training. So he's weight training. So maybe that's the cause of his wrist pain, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bad shoulder now for about 2 months because I slept funny. Like, doesn't make sense, does it? You know.
Yes, carnivores can still have aches and pains and
Yeah.
arthritis even, it's just not as likely.
We're not magical creatures.
No.
We're
I
not
mean, we
unicorns?
are.
No unicorns.
Look at us. We
I
are.
thought we were unicorns.
Unicorn. That's what I identify as.
Me-
Kim, you said you too?
yes. And hey, we have a lot in common, by the way. You were a police officer in the Air Force.
Yeah.
I was in the Air Force for a short time, but
Oh.
I was basically, this will make sense to you. I was the head red rope of the entire police squadron
Ooh,
before I left.
fancy.
Wow.
But I had to leave because I got hurt. So
Aw. Yeah, the red rope is like the leader of the pack, the trainee who's in
everybody
charge.
hated me. I mean,
Yeah.
hated me.
Yeah, I wanted nothing of that. I was just trying to like fly under the radar, but I was the smallest one. I was like strong as hell, but I was the smallest one, so I got made fun of a lot by the TIs. They
Aw.
call me Fifel, all these things. It was so mean and funny at the
Well,
same
we'll
time.
have to chat about that later because I've
Yeah.
been meaning to tell you about that.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, let's definitely. Hey, maybe we can collab. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So Minimalist Carnivore, what's up, man? I have also heard the RDA is more about averages and actual numbers needed, a bit deeper than that, but not truly optimal. Yeah, so that's based off of the average healthy person. So all of the recommendations are based off of the average healthy person following the standard American diet. So the problem is the majority of people living in the United States are metabolically unhealthy. So the RDAs are based off of the averages, but the averages of healthy people who are metabolically healthy in the United States. But Jonathan, Kim, or anyone, do you guys have anything to add or any thoughts on that?
There's nothing healthy about the standard American diet. The words health and sad diet should not be used
They're
in
not synonymous.
conjecture with each other.
So
I mean,
so
sad.
I was visiting home last year, and I just overdid it on the standard American diet, and I put on like probably 10 pounds in a month. And then, but I was walking around with my uncle, walking around Walmart, and I was definitely overweight. And I'm looking at these people feeling skinny. And this is the Midwest, and I hate that. I hate the fact that I'm overweight. I actually know I'm overweight, and I feel average or skinny.
I know.
So we got to keep talking about this. People need to relearn how we're supposed to actually be eating to be healthy, and not buy into like the pop propaganda that being obese is healthy.
Well, hey, Alia, I have something for you along those lines. I got Employee of the Month the other day, and guess what they got me?
What?
Cake.
Of course.
I was like, thank you. And I'm like, oh God, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, do they know? Do they know? Do they know? Is this am I being punked?
So Mike wants to know what everyone's having for dinner. Dave, which are you home or are you on the road? It looks like you're home.
Oh yeah, if this was my truck, boy, that'd be a real kind of special.
That's a nice track, Dave.
I know, right?
Yeah. No, I'm home till Tuesday. So was out 2 months, home for 5 days. Then I'll be back out for another 2 months here shortly.
What's for dinner?
Ribs. Barbecue ribs.
Nice. Jonathan, what you got cooking up for dinner? Wait, actually, Dave, how many times a day do you eat?
2 on average.
Okay. Jonathan, what about you? What's for dinner, and how many times a day do you eat?
3 to 4 meals. I personally feel better having 4, a bit more spread out. I'm more productive on 3 though, because you've got more time. I've got beef brisket with loads of butter, with a whey protein shake made of heavy cream, and maybe like a butter bite, and maybe some chicken skin crispy things.
That's great.
I need it.
I eat a lot.
Do you have a video on that or anything? On the chicken skin?
Not in the
I need to
chicken
learn how
skins,
to do
no.
that.
Gotta eat the chicken skin.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure it's not hard, right? But
No, just low and slow with a bit of salt, maybe some white pepper if you like it as well.
Do you have an air fryer?
Oh yeah, I've got like a multi-tier one and all that stuff.
I need to get one because I don't like the texture of fat, like the fat part of the meat. It just makes me gag. So Ron and a couple other people told me I need to invest in an air fryer to fry up the fatty bits, so I can actually get it down without gagging.
And I like it.
What's that?
I
like the fat.
Oh,
Thank
it's a
you.
texture thing. It just makes me. I can't even get it down my gullet. I can't.
I
It
wonder if
just
you
makes
have
me
like
gag.
sensory issues. One of my sons has some sensory issues, and he would be like that with a lot of foods.
Yeah, maybe. It's like as soon as it like touches my throat, it's just a gag reflex, and it just nope. So what about you, Kim? How many times a day do you eat, and what's for dinner?
Usually I eat about 2, but I'm all back to the intuitive thing with everything, with eating, with all that. When I leave here, I am going straight to the grocery store, actually probably Sam's Club, and I'm getting about 5 packs of 3 ribeye because I like to have a lot on hand, and I don't want to run out, and I'm out right now, so it's going to be ribeye.
Can't go wrong with ribeye.
No.
But yeah, about twice a day usually. Sometimes though, there are days when I'll only eat 1, and then sometimes I'll eat 1, and then like I'll get home from work at 8:30 at night and have just a can of sardines because I want to eat something. I'm physically hungry, but I don't want to eat right before I go to bed. And sardines is always just the perfect meal for me.
Yeah. My husband and I were just talking yesterday about getting a Sam's Club or Costco membership to save
Get
money
it.
because we spent like $230 something dollars on groceries. I was like, what in the heck? So we were
And
talking about doing that.
And if you get like the higher membership. I can't remember what, like the executive membership. It's more money, but then you'll get all that back if you go a lot.
Yeah.
I should do a video on that.
You should. You should do a Costco or whatever Sam's Club
I've got
haul.
Costco and Sam's, but I've
Yeah,
got
you
4
should do a
kids,
grocery
so.
haul. I'm being
Absolutely.
greedy. I'm being
I mean,
selfish
I've
here.
got
You should.
grocery
'Cause I wanna
hauls.
see.
Listen, I've got grocery hauls filmed right now that I could post.
Nice. Aaliyah, what about you? How many times a day do you eat, and what's for dinner?
2 to 3. 2 to 3. I feel better that way physically right now. I wish I could eat once a day because I like the idea of more productivity,
Yeah.
actually. But I was doing 2 meals a day, but I would feel like my body would feel shaky. You understand what I'm saying? Like I was feeling like, so
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
And it's usually the same 3 items. I'm very boring.
Yeah. Well, I saw you had a steak or beef pyramid, the new food
Oh, yeah.
pyramid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my husband had this great idea one day. I thought he was totally nuts. Is to get pork belly and get the butcher to grind it. So he grind it up 2 times, and he make like these little nuggets. So it replaces like fake chicken nuggets and makes like pork belly nuggets. They're crispy on the outside. It's awesome. And we eat so much of that because it's like kid food.
Yeah.
It makes the kids happy. Or you like roll it up like a hot dog. So that steak or eggs is for dinner. One of those things.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Ron? Outside of spending 2 hours in the gym, how many times a day do you eat, and what's for dinner?
2 years after eating carnivore, I dropped down to 140 pounds. And after I started joining the gym, I started eating more. And especially the last 9 months, I've been eating, 2 or even 3 meals a day.
Okay.
But today, it's reached the point where I can't put another fork in my mouth. So today I'm not eating.
Nice.
Fasting today.
days. Yeah, I've had days like that. Usually I'm too mad. Similar to Aaliyah, I was trying to get to 1 meal a day. I was almost there. I had 1 meal a day earlier this week, but I had a little snack, so I guess I wasn't so mad. But I typically am too mad. And today I am having 2 beef patties with bacon and cheese. I cook them in the oven, one, because I hate cooking and I don't like standing over the stove, but I put butter on top of the beef patties so they simmer and cook in butter, and it's so juicy and flavorful. So that's pretty much what I'm having for dinner.
That works.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more questions in here. Okay, so we got frozen hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, who mentioned frozen hard-boiled eggs? Was it someone on this stream? I heard it.
Caramel Mike.
Is that who I heard it from?
I think that's where I heard it from. That's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, it was Carnivore Kip. Someone mentioned frozen hard-boiled eggs, and I've never done that before. Has anyone tried freezing their hard-boiled eggs?
Mm-mm.
Probably, but I can't remember doing it recently.
Oh, you
I
think
haven't.
you
I
have?
didn't even know that was possible. I guess you would have to peel them for sure, right?
I think you cook
Yeah, it's
them
a
and
pain
then
in
you
the
freeze
backside.
them. Do you cook them and then you freeze them?
I mean,
Yeah, you
that's
freeze them
the
straight
shell
away.
would burst.
Wait, so you don't cook them, you just freeze them?
No, so
shell
no,
would
so
burst,
some
wouldn't it?
people, what some people have done is they've frozen the whole egg uncooked.
Okay.
Oh,
Then what they've done is then opened the shell, cut it up, then put that on the pan. So you get these like mini, like boiled eggs. I don't know what you call it, but where you get a boiled egg and you just cut it in segments, and you can people like put them in sandwiches and stuff.
So
Oh,
interesting.
oh, I've never.
So
thought to
it's
do
a
that.
fancy way of doing eggs, basically.
Interesting.
There's a good question for all of us. What's your
yeah.
favorite way to eat eggs?
Oh,
I
Wow.
like soft boiled eggs where the yolk is still runny, toss some salt on it, and I can't eat an uncooked white, so I just eat the yolk. That's my favorite way.
interesting. What about you, Ron?
Well, I beat up eggs and pour it in my hot waffle iron. I use it for bread. I dip it in fat. It's perfect. I love it.
So you like the dippy eggs?
Well, I like to dip them into the fat because they come out like a waffle.
Interesting. Okay,
True.
it's interesting. What about you, Kim?
Well, I'm actually not a huge egg person.
Get off
my
the
functional-
stream.
My functional medicine doctor actually told me from one of my tests that is, I think it's just garbage test, that I was, sensitive, not necessarily allergic, but that I had a reaction to eggs. I think she's full of it, but because I don't have any kind of symptoms when I eat them, I
Huh.
just don't love them. But I'll absolutely one if I need a quick meal. I do tend to like. I don't want any runny eggs. I want my eggs if they're scrambled. I want them dry, nothing runny at all. And then I like hard-boiled eggs, but I put them in the pressure cooker, and it makes them so easy to peel. It's like the best thing ever.
Oh.
And you have to have just the right times, which I happen to have in a video.
Right
Go
on.
subscribe to Kim's video.
Subscribe to all of us.
Yeah, subscribe
Right?
and like
Yes,
all of
for
us.
sure.
You
Everybody.
learn something from everybody.
Yeah, we all have
So
different
what about
viewpoints.
you, Jonathan? What's your favorite way to eat eggs?
I've got a quick question for Kim. Was that a hair mineral analysis test?
No, I
No.
haven't had that. That's one of the only tests I haven't had.
Yeah,
I
don't have
should
that one.
Do something on my different tests I've had too. I'm just coming up all kinds of ideas.
Write
right?
that down.
No, it was a blood, an IgG blood test, I think,
Oh, okay, fair
and
enough. Yeah,
for foods. And it was, I mean, they're really like, it's kind of junk science, really. I hate to say that, but if you're a firm believer in them, then okay. But like even Dr. Berry says that's nothing. I've asked him specifically, and he said it's garbage. So I don't know. I don't know
Fair.
if it's right or not.
yeah. My eggs. I like poached eggs. And one little tip for deshelling a hard-boiled egg is once it's cooked, put it into ice cold water into like a shaker. You know, like these protein shakers, those big ones that bodybuilders have. They just shake it around until the whole surrounding of the egg is cracked. Then when you peel it off, it just zips off,
Oh.
and it will
That's
it
a
will
good
save you
idea.
time. It will save you time. It's the quickest way to do it outside of having like a machine do it for you.
A machine?
A machine? Where are you
Yeah.
getting
A
that?
machine.
What machine do you speak of?
I don't know. It's probably really expensive.
I'm not buying a
Yeah.
machine to break
You
my.
should invent it. You should invent that
I should
machine.
invent it. Yeah. Jonathan's egg machine.
Yeah, I'll invest. So,
Well,
I
Jonathan
like-
used to be a YouTuber, but now he just does his egg stuff. You know,
we'll
he
see him on.
peddles his egg machine.
We'll see him on Shark
JML
Tank.
or whatever it is. Shark Tank. Yeah, that's it.
I like scrambled. I can't the runny yolks. It just upsets my stomach. I need a cooked yolk. I can't eat uncooked yolks. It's not
Oh, wow.
pleasant for me. So it's either that or I like omelets. I like getting some ground beef and cheese and just making like a hearty omelet out of that. Yeah, so it's either scrambled or I'll just make omelets because it's easy. What about you, Dave? Since you asked the question.
My all-time favorite's going to be soft poached eggs, and especially at restaurants, because you can order what I call carnivore soup anywhere in the world,
Huh.
and you're getting a bowl of soft poached eggs, and then adding whatever meat is on the menu, chop it up, mix it all together, maybe put a little hot sauce in there, some Redmonds. You got carnivore soup no matter where you go.
Interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we got a question about steak. Carno Dane can't make up his mind. What's the best steak to eat? Well, we had ribeye mentioned.
Ribeye, hello.
Everybody's got my vote.
Yeah,
Is there any other steak?
I'm not sure. My vote would be ribeye. Does anyone have
Ribeye.
any other preference besides ribeye?
Well, if you're going for cost, flat iron steak's pretty good too. If it's truly a
How do you
cost,
cook that? How do you cook that where it's not? Isn't it kind of tough?
you cook it in a lot of butter or tallow or whatever you're going to use for an animal fat source, and no, it's not tough at all.
Huh. Well, we got the answer to the frozen egg thing. Thank goodness, Mike, because I hard boil the eggs, peel the shells, and then put them in the freezer for about an hour until it's hard on the inside.
Mm.
That's interesting.
Wow.
What's up, Rick? See if there's any
Rick eats
other.
a lot.
Rick, yeah, he eats 3 times a day. He likes duck food specifically.
And iguana.
Right?
I'm still waiting for him to spit roast an iguana and post it on YouTube.
Oh my god.
Hey, it actually had me thinking for a minute there when I watched that video.
I'm a lizard mom. I can't do that.
Aw. So Susan Hampton, welcome. She says, "Hey carnivore friends, could you please introduce everyone and post our links to your YouTube channels? I'd love to describe to you all. I'm only following Carnivore Ron presently." Absolutely. So Ron, I know Susan knows you, but for all the folks in the chat, why don't we just go around and do introductions? And while you're doing that, I'll drop everyone's handles in the chat.
Oh, I started doing
Elias.
that already.
Oh, you did?
She's on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay. Go.
Oh.
Alia.
Speed.
Right on.
Cool.
Carnivore
Right.
speed.
Rock on, Alia. So what's up, Ron? Why don't you go ahead and lead us off?
Well, I'm Carnivore Ron, and you can find my YouTube channel just under Carnivore Ron.
Here you go. Alia.
Alia Wells with my face. And yeah, I don't have any special logos. And yeah,
That's not
like-
her YouTube channel. It's just Alia Wells. It's not Alia Wells
Find
with
my
my face.
And there you go. Just my name. There's a couple of them there's a couple of Alia Wellses on YouTube.
Oh.
So just find the one with my face. And I have a red shirt on. There you go.
Kim, can you top that?
No, not at all. But I do agree. There are a lot of Alia Wilsons because I've looked several times trying to find her.
Interesting.
So let's see here. I am Kim. I'm like Kimberly Lane is not that's my first and middle name. And the whole BSNRN thing, I had that on there, and now I'm like, I want a carnivore name. Should I change my name, y'all? Like,
Wow.
I don't know. I kind of like stumbled into this, so I wasn't really fully prepared. I still have like a beach scene as my banner or whatever it's called.
That's good.
So yeah, it's at Kimberly Lane, BSNRN.
Jonathan.
I'm Jonathan. Don't spell my name like that because you'll probably get blocked. I've got a very low tolerance of people that call me John as well, in case anyone
Is
hasn't
that not how
realised
you
yet.
spell your name?
Yeah.
Is that not
No,
how you spell your name? Oh, I'm sorry.
Nah, I don't like being called John. That's the main one. God,
Oh, okay.
God forbid. Yeah, JONATHAN. I'm competition
Okay.
consultant on YouTube. I've got a red shield-shaped logo. Been YouTubing now for about 9 months. I focus mainly on the carnivore diet and bodybuilding / body composition / fitness. What else do I do? Yeah, try
do
not to say stupid
interviews?
things. Do interviews, lots of presentations, lots of talks. Try to be helpful. Try not to be mean to people. That's about it, I think. I'm still quite new to this, so don't expect too much.
Yeah.
Same. I'm going to follow you, Jonathan. I think I'm following everybody else.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll check you out now as well on my mobile.
Yeah, same here. Everyone on the stream will subscribe to everyone if we're not already. But
Oh, absolutely.
I need the subs.
Yeah, me
Dave,
too.
introduce yourself, Dave.
Hey, I'm Dave, Carnivore Werewolf.
And I spelled that
At
wrong.
Carnivore
also.
Werewolf.
Well, you have interesting content. You're a trucker, so you do carnivore on the road, right? So that's
I
an
do
interesting
carnivore
take.
on the road. I'm a
Yep.
7-year ex-vegan. I try to coach
wow.
people the best I can if they have questions, and I try to put entertaining content out there with my travels across the country doing this.
And
Yep.
Dr. Barry does mention you at times because I've heard that's how I found you.
Nice.
Anybody
Yes, he
that
does.
Dr. Barry mentions, I'm like,
Dr. Barry commented on 2 of my videos. I was like, "You watch my videos? Cool."
oh my God.
He watches more than people think.
I know.
I can only hope.
So I'm Nicole. I'm a nutrition talk from a former fat girl. I do a lot of reaction videos to provide education. I am a certified nutrition and exercise nutrition coach and specialist, so I do go against the grain when it comes to promoting the low carb lifestyle. So everyone, Leah put all of our handles and YouTube channels in the chat. So definitely please check out our channels and drop a sub if you choose to do so. It definitely helps us all grow and helps us spread the word of this way of eating and just helps the community grow. So does anyone else, we're coming up on 2 hours here. I don't see any
Wow.
other questions in the chat.
Wow.
So we can like go
Has
around
anyone
the
got
floor.
scurvy yet?
No,
I do. I think we're all dying. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Can I put 2 plugs in?
go
can I
for
plug
it.
in
Yeah,
here?
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we can go around the horn and give some alibis. So we can start with you, Alia.
Oh, I was just gonna say Tuesday night, 7:15. I will be live with Carrie at Homestead How,
Okay.
and
I saw that.
next Sunday at
That's awesome.
1:15 my time, I'm gonna be with Jonathan and his partner, and we're gonna talk about carnivore diet and kids eating carnivore and etc.
Yay.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, me
Sophie's
too.
excited for that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Aw.
She's like my hero, actually. She's
Ah.
like
That's
she
awesome.
lost 100 pounds as a mom. That's what I'm
Nice.
looking to
Which is
do.
pretty cool.
Yeah, she's
Right
pretty
on.
cool.
Yeah, it's shameless plug time, right?
Yeah, shameless plug time before we
Go
go.
for it.
I'm 20 minutes past when I was supposed to get off of here, so.
It's all good.
Yeah.
What else we
Well,
got? Going around the room. Kim, you're
Oh,
up.
never mind. No, I was just gonna joke and say, well, I have a TikTok I've been doing for 3 years, so I could get comfortable on video and not hate my own voice and the look of myself on video. And I
Aw.
lip sync to Nicki Minaj sometimes. So just joking. I'm a big jokester.
That's awesome.
Jonathan, you got any plugs?
Yeah, I sell things that people will find very useful. I've got an exercise book, an ebook, which is like $3.50. If you haven't bought it, I'd be quite amazed if you haven't. It's very useful to most people if you're looking for specific exercise to do, perhaps body weight, training in the gym, using different equipment. What else do I do? Training plans, diet plans, coaching, consultations, all extremely affordable. The next nearest qualified person to me that I've seen online is about 3 times more expensive than I am. And they're actually less qualified and less experienced than me. Good thing.
Wow.
I think it's just where it is over here. It might just be, I don't know, the market, I don't know. But yeah. Try to give people the help that they need for a football rate.
Nice.
Great.
What about you, Dave?
Me, my shameless plug, I design carnivore shirts. CarnivoreWerewolf.com.
That's
And I'm biased, but I say I've got some of the best designs that are out there. And I keep them low cost. I don't go for
Nice.
the high profits like some people. I want everyone to just be able to spread the word.
Yeah, his shirts are pretty cool. I see you posting new shirt drops on the old IG. So his shirts are pretty cool.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. See, I'm plugging for you, Dave. You're welcome. So I guess my shameless plug is I have a lot of stuff coming up, but on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing a live interview with Everyday Carnivore, Jeff. So
Right
please pop on if you're
Awesome.
free. And similar to Jonathan, I do one-on-one coaching, but I did just launch my low-carb program. It's membership, kind of like a mini course, membership-based, so subscription-based. And you can go through the mini course, all my recipes, guides, all that stuff. And then you get monthly video group coaching calls to, help people transition and, live the low-carb lifestyle in a healthy way. So that's my shameless plug. But yeah, I don't see anything else in the chat, so we're gonna go ahead and end the stream here. We've been here for about 2 hours. It flew by.
Wow.
It went by
Wow.
fast. It did.
It did.
But it's been great talking to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
And all
this
of
was-
you.
Oh, speaking of everyday,
Yeah, I knew you meant that. I've heard this all my life.
speaking of Jeff, Everyday Carnivore, like I said, we're chatting Tuesday night. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. You can catch the
Awesome.
replay, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's cool. Jeff's cool.
Awesome. Let's do
Yeah.
this again. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do this. We'll do this again. We'll do this another Sunday, same time. So we'll talk offline and get another stream going. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and thank you for everyone who joined us in the chat for spending your Sunday or Monday, wherever you are in the world.
Thanks for having me.
Hanging out without us. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate that.
See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Spirit.